Good morning, internets. Oh, a little crooked there. There you go. All right. It is a rainy, gray, rainy day in Las Vegas. And out here, these are very, very rare. And because they are so rare, you know, can't nobody act right when it rains. Everybody thinks it's the apocalypse. So, we'll see how the commute goes this morning. Giving myself a little extra time to get there so that I can drive slowly, and also to allow for the fact that everybody else is going to be driving a little wacky and a little slower too. I'd like to apologize in advance for my squeaky wipers. Hopefully that doesn't mess with the audio too bad in this video. When you live in Las Vegas and your wipers almost never get used, they dry out and they pretty much dry rot. So there's always this avalanche of people running toward AutoZone when it rains to replace wipers, because you don't know that your wipers are bad until you go to use them and all they do is smear. These wiper blades are still good. They're just squeaky at this point, but I'm sure in the next couple more months of dry weather they're going to need to be replaced. Thank you guys all so very much for watching and commenting on my last video. That was a very difficult one to make, and it's hard to get that personal, so I really appreciate everybody for being so kind and compassionate, and for providing me topics to talk about. So I want to address some of those today. One person asked me, how did you decide on the Volt, and what other electric cars did you consider before the Volt? This is where it's going to get a little embarrassing. I've told this story a couple of different times, but here's the short version of it. I did not consider any electric cars before the Volt. I didn't even consider the Volt. I just kind of ended up with the Volt. And the way that happened was I had a car that was a Passat, 06 Volkswagen Passat that I loved, but the motor was giving us all kind of troubles. We'd already put more money into the car than we'd originally paid for it. And it wasn't going to get better. So we did what we could to eliminate the knocking sound created by the bad cam tunnel, cleared all the check engine lights, and took her to CarMax and traded her in. And I was not leaving in the Passat. I was leaving in something else that night. So I worked a full day as a teacher. Then we went to CarMax, and I actually went there looking for a Honda Fit because I wanted something reliable and I didn't want the drama of a car that was going to give me all kind of trouble anymore. The Passat was a lovely car, but it was my first import, and it was extremely complicated anytime you needed to fix it, anytime anything needed to be done. And when you have to open the motor on one of those things, there's just... Anyway, it's a nightmare. So anyway, we took it to CarMax, and the guy started showing me around some other things, you know, and Rob was actually the one who saw the Volt on the lot, and he goes, "That's a Volt." I was like, "What's a Volt?" And he goes, "They're nice." I know that much about them. I don't know a lot about them, but I know that they're nice, and I think it's some kind of hybrid. I was like, I thought that, you know, electric cars or hybrid cars were going to be out of my reach. When I was teaching, I didn't make a lot of money. Emphasis on not a lot of money. At the end of the month, I had a margin of error in my budget of less than $20. So if you know a teacher, be nice to them, because chances are they are struggling like I was. Bad times, man. So, you know, and now I'm trying to squeeze in a car payment, and very, very stressful. I didn't know how I was going to make any of it work. Am I going to have to get a second job? And it's like, well, okay, here's a car that will nearly eliminate the amount you're spending in gasoline every month. Well, I was spending, you know, several hundred in gas a month because my commute was so long to get to my teaching job. So it's like, okay. And then this was less expensive than the Honda Fit that I went there to look at. The Honda Fit that I went there to look at was $16. This one was $14. It was $2,000 cheaper. And on top of that, the Honda Fit I was looking at was a baseline, and this is fully loaded. This is a 2012 Chevy Volt Premium, and it has every option that was available at the time that the car came out. So I've got heated seats. In fact, let's go ahead and turn those on right now. It's cold, it's rainy, warm the tushy. I mean, we've got the leather with the, you know, the tone match stitching for the paint on the outside. We've got the tri-color, the trichrome paint on the outside, which sometimes is blue and sometimes is silver and sometimes is teal, depending on what angle of the light you look at it in. I mean, it's got it all. I got the big fat hard drive for the music. And there are some things in it now that seem like old technology, like the backup camera isn't super amazing when it comes to definition or quality of picture. But it's 2012, you know, this is, at this point, this is a 7-year-old car. And at the time, it was, you know, it was the do. And now I have it, which is pretty cool. I also did find out that the previous owner of the car was the mayor of Boulder City, which is the town where the Hoover Dam is. It's basically, you know, the last stop on the way to Arizona. A beautiful little town. And the mayor of that city is who owned this car. So he had great taste. And also left a whole bunch of music on the hard drive. A lot of Gloria Gaynor, a lot of disco, a lot of Queen, which was cool. Elton John. Good stuff that I left on there. So, some of the disco had to go, but you know what? I left the Neil Diamond. What are you gonna do? Coming to America gets me fired up. So I took a couple other things for a test drive. I took the Ford C-Max for a test drive. That's an EV, and I hated it. I hated that car. Which sucked, because on the outside it looked like a cute, boxy little hatchback, which is what I wanted. I wanted a hatchback. I didn't want another sedan. I will never have another sedan. And we'll get into that in a minute, but I will never have another sedan. I wanted a hatchback, and like the Ford, it looked roomy, it looked good. Like, you know, if I go to craft shows, I need to bring all my sewing stuff. If I need to move fabric, if I need to move sewing machines, if I need to move teaching supplies, you know, whatever, I want to be able to do it, but I don't want a pickup truck. I want, you know, a hatchback. I don't want a big gigantic SUV because I want something fuel efficient. I want a hatchback. So the Ford C-Max looked right. But when I got in, the dashboard was a million miles away from the steering wheel, and it was all pinched into this little tiny. It was very strange. It was a very strange thing. That they're Ford, and I wasn't into it. Tried on a couple of other things, and I'm starting to think, like, can I really afford an EV? Are they attainable? And then I find out that it's cheaper, and it's like, wait a minute, I live in a condo and I have a garage. I could plug it in and charge it. Maybe I can have an EV. I didn't know what was available. I didn't. I've been a car guy for a long time, but you know, I'm out on the roads looking at, you know, old Cougars and Vets and stuff. I was an ICE engine girl before, just because it's what I knew. But I know that burning gas is inefficient and bad for the environment and bad for my wallet. Like, let's be honest, my reason for switching to EV is mostly a selfish one. It's not a political reason. I'm not a superhero. I'm not one of these save the world type people. I mean, I'm not like nuke the whales or anything, but at the same time, I mean, I got a life to live, and there's only so green I can get to do it in a town like Las Vegas. So, I don't know, getting into the Volt, and I got in, and it was comfortable. It was nice. With leather. Yeah. And seat warmers. And then it was my first experience driving an electric car, and they kept it charged on the lot, and I went out on the test drive, and, you know, Rob had to make a phone call, so it was just me and the salesman. And, you know, he tells me, you know, these things, they handle pretty good, they're pretty comfortable, and I knew a little bit about electric cars, and I'm like, is it true that 100% of the power is available from 0 RPM? And he goes, you know, I don't know. The salesman didn't really know anything about the car. And I was like, let's find out. And I mashed the accelerator, and zoom, it took off like a rocket ship. And I was like, well, that's fun. And it's, you know, it's like driving a really zippy golf cart with really nice amenities. There's nothing wrong with that. And every once in a while, somebody will make fun of me for driving an electric car and be like, it's basically a golf cart. And I say, well, hang on just a minute. Let's have you shut up a second. Let's have a conversation. Have you ever driven a golf cart before? Oh, yeah. Were you a kid when you drove it? Yeah. Did you ever get to spend, you know, an afternoon just zipping around in a golf cart? And most of the time, somebody will, you know, recall a memory of oh yeah, my uncle had a golf cart, or, you know, my dad, you know, my neighbor had, you know, a little golf cart that they turned into a buggy or something. That thing was a blast. And I was like, right, the best time you could ever have when you were a kid was zipping around on a golf cart. You had a blast every time you drove it, right? Right. Well, then shut the hell up. I get to drive a golf cart every day. Suck it. It's so much fun. And it's quiet. So, that's nice. So that's how I came to, I was like, whatever, I'll take it. And we were there until 9 o'clock at night. I had an insurance guy that, car guy, you know, what are you gonna do? He's like, well, you can't leave here without it being insured. That's part of the condition of the loan or whatever. And it's 9 o'clock, so you're gonna have to come back tomorrow. I was like, no. Hold my Gatorade and watch this. So, you know, I called my dude and get the policy all done up and left with the Volt. Passat's their problem, and the rest is history. Here we are in Alessandro. Bruce asked if I ever charge around town in Las Vegas, and do I have a hard time finding charging spots in Las Vegas, and did I check out the charging stations in Baker when I went to LA back in October. So let's see. Yes, I do charge around town in Las Vegas when it's available. It's increasingly more and more available as time goes on, but it's not as available as I would like it to be for a city this size that's supposed to be this progressive. You know, we have a lot of new technology in Las Vegas. Corporations like to test out things here before they test them out anywhere else. So we get technology and amenities here before they get any place else. Here's a weird example. Those, and I don't know if you guys have these where you live, but I know they're kind of everywhere now. Or at least in more places than just Las Vegas. Those Coca-Cola Freestyle machines where you, like, it's a big giant computer screen and you get to custom mix your soda. Dumb example, but they were here 4 years before that they were anywhere else. And the reason for that is that Las Vegas has everybody. We have people from everywhere here. We have Americans from everywhere here. And we have an international audience from everywhere here. So companies have a lot of research and a lot of data on which demographics can be found in which places, and they strategically place technology and test it out on the public here before they test it out anywhere else. Amazon lockers we had here years before anywhere else. I mean, we've had these things for years here, and I go to other cities and I don't see them, and then I remember, oh wait, I live in weird future town. It is one of the nice things about living in Las Vegas. Sometimes it's one of the frustrating things about living in Las Vegas because new technology is buggy. So with all that being said, you would think there'd be a lot more chargers. Just really not. Luckily, I do drive a Volt, so if I ever run out of charge, generator kicks on, I'm good. It is a very nice feature of the car. But most days I don't run through my battery range. If I'm going to crawl all the way to the office like this, I mean, we are doing 15 on the 215 on the freeway right now, and have been since I got on. I mean, I'm going to use basically no range on my way to work. There are a lot of people freaking out because I did not give themselves extra time. Gotta calm down, people. I see people waving their arms and stop and go, and a couple people honking around here, and it's not that big a deal. It's just a rainstorm. Drive a little slower. Everything's fine. People get so cranky. But anyway, as far as charge points around town, there's the actual Charge Point, which you know, is a company that makes EV chargers, and I can't show you my fob right now because I'm driving. But you get you download the Charge Point app and you give them your address and they mail you a little card. You can use it before then with just your phone, but you got to do a couple more steps. And they give you a card and an RFID, like they're both RFID, but a little tag that I have on my Volt keychain. And you just go to a charge point, and it depends on the facility. So there's a charge point at the M Casino on the roof, and all they have is 2 chargers there. Very often they are occupied, but I really like the buffet at the M. By the way, if you come to Las Vegas and you want to hang out with me, we'll go to a buffet and you will see things that you have not seen before. I honor my ancestors at a buffet. It gets real. So I really like the buffet at the M. It's nice to go be able to charge there. And the M, it will let you charge for free. A lot of casinos, when they do have the EV charging, they want you to spend money there, so that's an amenity that they'll provide for free. So when you go and you scan your little charge point, it doesn't cost anything. It just registers that you're there and it activates the charge point. Same thing when you go to Springs Preserve. They have rows of the charge points because they have a giant canopy, a solar canopy over their parking lot, which, you know, feeds those. And you still have to use the charge point card, but again, that's free. When my mother-in-law, Lee, was in the hospital for the last 4 months, she spent most of her time at 2 different hospitals. Both were in the Dignity Health Network, which we have out here. We have St. Rose de Lima, St. Rose Dominican, St. Rose hospitals, and it's all in the Dignity Health Network. And those had charge points. They were not free. It was 50 cents an hour. And here's the one downside about ChargePoint. ChargePoint makes you preload your ChargePoint account with money. And they make you do it in intervals of $10. And when you get down to less than, I'm going to mess this up, it's less than like $2 or less than $5, it automatically pulls another $10 from your payment method. In my case, it's my debit card. It'll automatically charge my debit card for $10, even if I only go 50 cents over. Now that $10 is there for me next time, but it's non-refundable. So that's kind of dirty that ChargePoint does that. I'm not a super big fan of that. But it was 50 cents an hour, and I could keep my car charged when we were at the hospital, visiting and taking care of her and keeping her company. So that was nice. Any of the Stations casinos, those are locals casinos, and they advertise on their website that they have free EV charging in valet. So far, this has mostly been true. The only time it hasn't, and I go to Stations casinos a lot too. There's a Fiesta in Henderson that has a super cheap buffet. The M is a really fancy buffet, but the Fiesta in Henderson is a cheap buffet, and it's just an old, ugly casino. Ugly, like impressively heinous. Like, oh my God, like a bunch of tourist vomit would actually improve the look of the carpet. But there's just something about this hideous old place that, you know, really makes me homesick for Reno. And Reno casinos and Sparks casinos. And you go in there, and there's they have a Saturday and Sunday brunch buffet from like opening until 2. It goes on, and it's $9.99 with your Players Club card. I don't gamble, but I have the club card just for the buffet discount, and bottomless mimosas. Rob doesn't drink, so that works out great. We go there, we plug the Volt in. I do work at the buffet line, and, you know, mimosas. Mommy doesn't drink, she just has fun. And, you know, get my brunch on. And you go charge there for free. Now, there are a couple of times where you run it. It kind of depends on how much the valet knows about what's going on. If you tell the valet, like, hey, I'd like to charge for free, will you park this for me? Sometimes I'll just stare at you. Like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, charge, it's right over, I can see it from here. Charge it. I had a dude say, oh yeah, that doesn't work. And I was like, I was just here yesterday. Not that I would go to the buffet 2 days in a row. I like buffets. Which makes Vegas a good town to be in. I still haven't been to every buffet in town. It's a mission of mine. Anyway, yeah, so a couple of times I just gave up, and I was like, whatever, I have a generator, I don't need to deal with you. But most of the time it's free. When we took the Volt to Red Rock a couple of weeks ago for Buggy's birthday, and Red Rock is another Stations casino, and they had the free charging too. So there are free places to charge in town. One of the bigger charging stations in town is at Town Square. It's a Tesla specific charging station, and it's like 15 all lined up at the end of the parking lot, and I never see a vacancy. There is never an empty spot. They are always full. I kind of feel bad for Tesla owners out here because I don't really know where the Tesla stations are. I know your car tells you, but I don't see them around as much as I'll see charge points around. So they're starting to pop up more and more often, but when places do put them in, they usually only put in one central charger, which has 2, you know, it goes in between 2 parking spots, and it can charge 2 cars. That's pretty much it. And it only has this style, not Tesla style. So, I mean, I don't know how that stacks up against other cities, other than, you know, in June, we were in Spokane, and it was a town, you know, we went to Spokane, and it really felt like Reno at the time that I was growing up. It felt like Reno in like the early 90s for that size. Reno's huge now, but Spokane kind of felt that way. It had the little river running through it and everything, just like Reno has the Truckee, and a very, very, very cute place. Small, much smaller than this, but they had a lot more charging stations in Spokane than they do here. And I was pretty impressed by that. They were like at every grocery store and every corner store, and half the hotels had them, and they were everywhere. So, do I have a hard time charging around town? I don't look that hard for charging around town, just because of the fact that I have a generator. And if I go to a place and there's only one charging spot available, a lot of times I won't take it, because I do have a generator that can get me home, and I don't know if there's potentially somebody who is in a Nissan Leaf that is on its last leg, that's on its last couple of miles of range, and they really need that. And if you see a Volt charging when you really badly need, your only method of propulsion of getting around is your battery, I don't know. I want to be a good neighbor. I don't want to screw somebody over, and that would make me feel bad. So that's the kind of thing that I worry about. So a lot of times I won't charge if there's only one spot available. But I don't really have too much of a hard time. And Bruce, yes, I did see the Baker charging station, but it was all full up, and I was trying to make time. So I kept right on a trucking. Put more gas in a little bitty tank, and kept straight on to Grammy's house. So I saw it, but I didn't actually have to check out the station. So sorry about that. But there will be another time with me driving to LA soon. And we'll try to make a stop in Baker and go ahead and cover that. So, those are the answers to those questions there. It's nice to be making videos again. I miss talking to you guys. So that's pretty good. You can see that Batman is back from anger management classes. I asked him how it went, and he was kind of reluctant to even talk about it. Mostly still his grumbly, I am the night self. And it's just like, okay, I don't know why we spent all this money on anger management, but whatever, I support you. Oh, Model X. There it goes. Cool. See those here a lot. Really, 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 really want one. Yeah. Oh, also, I'm getting back into my reading and learning about all the EVs that are coming out. And, GM may have killed the Volt, but they've got some other good stuff in the works that we'll talk about pretty soon. Jag is coming out with their all-electric SUV that is supposed to be it's a Model X killer. It's cheaper, it has better range, and it's a Jag. So it's got Jag finishings on the inside of it. It's got Jag leather. It's got Jag interior. It's got Jag center console. And while I would never own a modern day internal combustion Jag, that's not where I'm at, man. That's not my thing. Not gonna lie, the E-Pace is looking good. It's very pretty, and I'm excited about that one in particular to come out. There's some other good stuff going on. GM's toying with the idea of making a hybrid Escalade, which would be very, very cool. The Escalade is an extremely popular vehicle where I live out here. It's definitely a bestseller. But when I talk to people who have them, they're like, I ask them so what kind of mileage you get? And they're like 11, sometimes 7, depending on their suspension and what they've got it loaded down with, and wheels, and yada 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 yada. And it's just unfathomable. I mean, you have to stop at the gas station in between home and work if that's your daily. Ridiculous. I like the idea of a hybrid one. That's pretty cool. There's all kind of good stuff in the works. And EV pickup trucks, and we'll get to all that in the days to come, guys. I am pulling up to the office right now, and it might be rainy and it might be gray, but it's going to be a good day. Yesterday I got to interview some potential new team members for my Vegas magazine, and today I am conducting more interviews, and then next week I get to participate in training those new people. So my Vegas magazine is growing. We are excited. It's going to be a good thing, and here's where it's getting really exciting. My Vegas isn't just going to be my Vegas anymore. We are expanding to other cities, and the next city that we're expanding to is Nashville. So I don't know anything about Nashville, and I'm not going to be part of the Nashville team. I'm going to continue to run the West Coast operations on this side and do my Vegas, because I'm a West Coast BZ. What are you gonna do? And I'm most definitely a Nevadan. And I haven't been any further east than Boulder, Colorado. So not really qualified to do my Nashville. But I am excited to be part of a company that is doing so much growth and doing so much and doing so much expanding and building. And we love the local publication model, and it is a really great way to build a community presence and bring a community together. And I'm so excited to see it work again in a new town. We have a really good team already, and we're looking to add to that team and bring more talent and good people, good marketing and good creative minded people with all kinds of positive ideas. And Alessandro, I'll turn him off. And it's been a blast, and I'm looking forward to being part of the training for these new people. And we're in a couple of months we're moving offices because we don't have enough office space for the way the team is expanded. And people that I started working with that were front desk admins are now, editorial managers, are now business managers. I mean, there's opportunity for advancement here. And our publisher, Mark, really cares to see us advance and cares to see us succeed. And I've never worked a place like that before. So it's been pretty amazing. So it's a little bit about what's going on with my Vegas. That's a little bit about what charging in Las Vegas, a little bit about buffets in Las Vegas. If you're in Las Vegas and you're a fan and you're a viewer and you want to come hang out, hit me up. Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below or shoot me an email, and we'll make sure to get together at a car show or maybe hit up a buffet. I'm always happy to meet new people. And that's going to about do it for me today, guys. I'm going to get in there and get to work, and I'm excited about it. So I love you all great big bunches. I hope you all are having a really good day. If this is your first time on the channel, please consider subscribing right over here. Here's some other things I think you'll enjoy right down here. My name is Catherine. This is EVs of Nevada. Please remember to like, subscribe, and smile.